Welcome to the Quentin Moore Podcast.
You got a Bible this morning? I'm going to go over to Isaiah chapter 40. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I touched on a truth that I've known for a long, long time, and I got about 20 emails and text messages and a lot of online stuff going, we've never heard that. And I've taught that. I don't want to teach that. I've taught that. I don't know whether you're like me. Sometimes you get bored with teaching the stuff that you know. Anyway, so I got to looking back and checking, seeing how long it had been since I had revisited that. And one of the issues about being somewhere a long time is you think, well, I told them that once, you know. And so I got to looking back, looking at some dates and realized that maybe this might be. Do you know that Jesus is the most present person there is? Did you know he never has ADD? I just want you to know you never have to tell Jesus to pay attention. Jesus is always focused on you. Jesus is always completely focused. His undivided attention is on you this morning. It's interesting how we have trouble focusing, but Christ never takes his eyes off us. He says he's always listening to us. I want you to understand, never assume that Christ is like your best friend, because he's better than your best friend. I mean, he is always attentive to you, never sleeps, never slumbers, to have your attention, to be able to talk to you. So many times we assume that he's a human being, and he's more than that. And he's always, and so I just garner your attention. Paul wrote that everything in creation was created that the world might know him. That everything that is seen came out of the unseen, invisible God, and that you are without excuse, O man. That you can look around at everything that's been created and you can know who God is, what God is like. That if you never had a Bible, you could look at creation and understand the greatness and the goodness of God. If you've never held a child, but if you ever held a baby, you understand that there has to be something higher than I. There has to be something more than me. No man could have created this, and no child is an accident. And if no child is an accident, then there has to be a God who intentionally, wonderfully, purposely, uniquely created every human being. And you can know that by holding a baby, right? And then if you look around and see the world, the atmosphere, because not any other planet has the atmosphere that we do. All of this research we've done throughout the universe, and we've never found another planet that has the atmosphere necessary for humanity to live. So out of the greatness of the Milky Way, there's one little place that God has created to sustain us. Everything that's made was created so that you would be without excuse. I really believe that one of the reasons why God allows man to acquire more knowledge of the universe is so that man can realize how special he is. Amen. So we can look at things and we can understand the nature of God. When God speaks to us, he talks to us about, well, if there's a red sky in the morning, or if there's a red sky at night. He says that bread and wine, it's like this, or a fig teaches us about how not to pretend. Or 30, 60, and 100, a fig, a sycamore, and an oak. Or bread and wine, a shepherd, a door, a sheep, a light. Fire. He takes natural things and says, I'm like, or this is like. And he helps us to understand, not because he can articulate the words in a book that we argue about, but no, because he takes and gives us images and pictures. And a picture is worth 1,000 words. And all the way through the scripture, he talks about dove and grain falling into the ground, or leaven that leavens the whole lump, or pearls and treasures and nets, so that we understand who God is, because he connects with what he's created and says it's like that. It's one of my favorite verses in the Bible, and it's become very, very poignant to us in the last 6 or 7 months, and you'll catch it, I hope, as I go through. But Isaiah chapter 40, verse 28. Have you not known and have you not heard the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth? Say, the creator. Neither faints nor is weary, nor his understanding is unsearchable. He never gets tired. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak. Anybody in here say, thank God? I did some tree trimming this week, and I was feeling weary, and my joints were hurting. And then I went, this isn't bad for 59. Amen. Thank God. Never mind. And those who have no might, he increases strength. Say, increases. Even though the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall, but they that wait upon the Lord, say that with me, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They will mount up with wings as eagles, and they will run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. I love the Amplified. Those that wait upon the Lord, who expect, look for, hope in, shall change and renew their strength and power, and they shall lift their wings and mount up close to God as eagles mount up to the sun. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint or become tired. Thank you, Jesus. Man, this verse has been for many years a powerful verse. And yet about 4 or 5 months ago, as the children began to struggle with the diagnosis that they were given, Heather reminded me of this verse. She said, Dad, do you think that applies? That those that wait upon the Lord should rise up, mount up. That those that wait upon the Lord. And she said, Dad, we may have to wait several months, but you've taught that if we wait upon... Am I making any sense? And so the name Hoxton came from this verse. Think about it. We weren't going to go as far out on the limb as to call him Eagle. We weren't going to do that. But the idea of a hawk, are you getting my... And this verse became one of the foundational verses for the family. And so it's been right here. It's just been there for 5 or 6 months. So you're going to get to catch up on what we were. And the reason was, it says Heather had heard me teach on several things, and I mentioned just in passing one Sunday, and I had all this response about, tell us more about that. Now, some of you that have been here longer than God, you're going to know a little bit about where I'm going. Those that wait. The word there is a Hebrew word that has been translated 3 or 4 different ways, because Hebrew has multiple words to mean the same thing, and you got to catch it. They're confusing. But the one I like is the word sabanut. And the word sabanut, those that wait, hope, expect, those that sabanut on the Lord. And the word sabanut means more than just to wait for a cab. It means more than just hope someday you get ice cream. Sabanut means to wait in anticipation, in expectation, but also as though you already had it. So it's to wait, but to possess at the same time. In other words, I'm waiting upon the Lord, but I've already possessed everything the Lord has. Those that sabanut, it's like I grab it, it's not visible, but I've got it anyway. And so I'm not going to be disappointed. I can never be disappointed because I already have that which I'm waiting on. I know it's confusing, but it's Jewish. Go figure. You've never hung out with Jewish people. Will renew, make fresh, restore, revigorate, rebuild, revive, resume, replace, become new again. To take that which was dilapidated and to make it have luster again, to just breathe new life into it, it replies that restorative reality. And I've been teaching for 6 or 7 months on supernatural restoration. Again, I wear this thing that says supernatural. It reminds me every day, it's supernatural. And I've been talking about how God doesn't just restore, but He supernaturally restores. He brings back to a former condition in a... How many of you like to be rejuvenated, refreshed, renewed? And those that wait upon the Lord, living in expectation, already possessing that which way they are expecting, shall renew their strength. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people that could use a little strength, a little increase, to be fresh again, to take that old worn out thing and replace it. And it dawns on me that there are a lot of human beings that need to be restored. There's a lot of human beings that instead of preparing to retire, need to prepare to be made new again. And to be living this vibrant life, and to be, I was, again, cutting down trees. And I'm cutting these trees down, and this friend of mine in Missouri, and he's old. He's 65. He's old. And he comes walking over there to my cabin, and he's going, I can't believe you're doing that. I said, why? He goes, well, we're too old to be doing it. And he goes, are you still preaching? I said, yeah. He goes, I thought they would have got rid of you by now. I'm thinking, you need renewed, and I could help you. Renewed. Therefore, we do not lose heart, even though our outward man is perishing, yet the inward man is being renewed day by day. Say, day by day. I'm becoming more new. Ephesians said, be renewed in the spirit of your mind. That your mind, did you know that your mind can get dusty? Have you ever been around people and they're just old in their head? I've met some 20-year-olds that are dusty. I've met some 20-year-olds that creak. I've met some 20-year-olds that need to act. Be renewed in the spirit of your mind, or put on the new man who is renewed in the knowledge according to the image of him. Say renewed. Listen, Christians, we're supposed to be new every day. We're supposed to wake up and be fresh every day. We're not supposed to be living on yesterday's revelation. We're supposed to be living on today's revelation. There's a reason why he said you're not going to be able to hold that bread overnight. You're going to have to get out and go get new bread every day. Every day I'm going to make bread fall out of the sky. And if you try to save it overnight and take a day off, it ain't going to work. Right? Say renewed. A new thought, something like that. I mean, Jesus was always talking about new wine. Say new wine. I think we're going to sing a song next week. It is unbelievable. New wine. Pentecost is all about new wine. Paul talked about a new man, a new creation. For Peter, he said a new heaven and a new earth. John said a new name, new heaven, new earth, new Jerusalem, new song. Jesus says covenant, cup, wine, tongues, commandment, life, new man. Come on, we're supposed to remain new. You don't have to go buy new. You can be renewed. That's what's wrong with the American economy today. If something's 2 days old, we go buy a new one. Did you know that in Europe, you don't tear anything down? You just renew it. Here, we tear it down and make a new one. We don't need a new one. We need to renew the one we got. Oh, well, you get it. Say all things. He's making all things become new. Isaiah in 46 says, behold, I will do a new thing. Forget the former things. I'm going to do something new. If you're bored as a Christian, it's because you hadn't done anything new in a while. Oh, well.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Quentin Moore Podcast. You can connect with Quentin online at quentinmoore.com or on social media using @BishopQuentin.